Hello, my loves, and welcome to this message. It's good to see you. And if you're new here, welcome. I always like to give a little heads up before I start with my readings because they might not be what you they might not be what you're used to. Um, they are quite unique. They can be a bit of a journey, quite the deep dive. So, if you like to dig deep and get to the core of things, then you are in the right place. Um, before I start here, I wanted to mention, like, yay, I finally did it, and I um, made my offer public, so you can book personal readings now. You'll find the link for it down in the description. It is for video format. And yeah, if you're interested in that, I would love to connect with you in that way and to channel personal messages for you. Um, yeah, so I did get something with that message here. Um, so there is this sense of like your guides just want to have a talk with you kind of thing. Okay, let's just sit down and talk. Let's hang out a bit and maybe give you some guidance or advice. It's yeah, there's this feeling of let's just take the time to get a few things straight. And I just saw that on the bottom of the deck there is the card a leg up. So yeah, they just wanna help you with something. Um, we are staying in a really old place. It's a castle. It's pretty cool. And but we do have a bit of an ant problem in the kitchen. Nothing severe, but I mean it's an old building, and there are all these cracks, and they just come in and they keep finding their way in. Although we have we tape we tape up the entrance, and they just keep coming in. And we are trying to bring them back to their entrance so that they can find their way back, and then we close the gate, so to speak. And it's funny because some of them are a bit faster and others are a bit slower. And I was just saying to my friend who's with me, and I said, hey, do you think that our guides are sometimes like that? Because there's this ant that was just like running around and it didn't find its trail. And the funny thing was, there was another ant and it was just like speeding through that same area, just racing across, passing that confused ant. And it didn't have any trouble finding that trail, but the other one was just completely confused and running in circles and trying to find its way. Um, and we were trying to help it. We were trying to help find the trail again so it could go back to where it came from before we closed the gate behind it. Um, and yeah, so I said, do you think our guides are sometimes like that? And he said, yeah, absolutely. I think that's absolutely the case. Um, so that was, I always take what's coming in before a reading. I already had the intention of recording a reading, so yeah, I always pay attention to these things. And so maybe your guys, yeah, it feels like your guy. Oh yeah, and there one card is flying out. It's higher power. It's like, can you accept that help from this higher place? Can you trust it? And there's also the four. We have the three and the four, and the three is a very divine number, and the four. And when I'm looking at the clock, it's 4:44. So four is stability. It is a manifestation number. It is about like really bringing things into physical existence and building something that is tangible and long term stable. Um, it also is the number of the emperor in the tarot. And I just recorded a collective message yesterday. Yeah, it should be the one that is posted before this video. And it has something about like be the ruler of your own life, something along those lines in the title. Um, so it really is about like taking up that space in your own life and become the the builder, the creator, the one who actually, yeah, I get something about building something with your own hands, getting your hands dirty, maybe even, maybe in a literal sense. But like if not in a literal sense, and figuratively speaking, like, yeah, put in the work, really put in the work to achieve what you want to achieve. And so there's this thing, and I'm drawn to it here now. There's this thing in the spiritual community when it comes to manifestation. There's always this thing of, well, you just have to envision it, you just have to use all these methods and affirmations and all that stuff. And while that is, yeah, it is true to some degree, but you still have to go in and do the things. You still have to make something happen. And I mean, I for myself have been working through that over the last, I think it was quite an extensive amount of time, and I could tell that the collect it wasn't a collective thing. This to get out of a certain kind of dreamy energy and just like thinking if I just wish for it, it'll kind of drop on my doorstep. And not to say that things cannot drop on your doorstep, because they can, and I have certainly experienced that. But usually there is some kind of action that comes before that. And in order for this to, yeah, in order for things to actually drop on our doorstep, we do have to make it possible. Yep, yeah, confirmation over the cards here. Um, so with the Eight of Swords in reverse, there is this sense of being very stubborn in like there. Okay, so there's this feeling of being stuck, but at the same time stubborn about like, no, it has to be this or nothing else. Like it has to be this way. And when we get the Eight of Swords, there is there's the idea or that feeling of being stuck when we're actually not. It is just that we don't see the solution. We're not able to see the solution. And most of the time, the reason for that is that we try to break, um, what's the word? to, yeah, to break down a door, like to break through a door that is actually closed, while we're not recognizing that there's actually something else opening up in a different place, but it's a place where we're not looking. So another example is like the place we're staying in right now. It's beautiful and we love it. But we only booked until tomorrow because this apartment here is only available until tomorrow, and we were looking for another place to go, and I just didn't find anything. I was like, no, like what I wanted, I just couldn't find anything until um I by chance saw that in the same place that we're staying in right now, there is a smaller but a different apartment available. It's in the same building, it's in the same gorgeous castle. And so there was a like a solution sitting right in front of us all this time, but we did not recognize it. And I, because I kept saying, I love it here, and I want something like that in the next place we're going to. But I just, of course, I couldn't find anything like it because it's an old castle with an amazing garden, and it's just beautiful here. Um, but yeah, so the solution was just to stay here, just in a different apartment because this one is booked. And so that would be an Eight of Swords scenario, that I was just so focused on, oh, I have to go away, I have to go somewhere else because this is not an option anymore. It's like, well, yeah, actually, it is. There is one free upstairs, but I just didn't look here. Um, so sorry. There and okay, so when we get into this, whoops, into this Eight of Swords energy, there usually is a sort like a sense of tension, and it has like, I have to push through this, like I have to just um I very often experience it with a sense of I have to get it now, and like I have to push through this. I have to just keep on forcing it. There's this sense of force behind it, which is a very much like the sword mental energy. But there's something missing. There's something missing that is present when something happens in alignment and with love behind it. Um, and I do know that feeling of, okay, so this is how it's supposed to be. It's not always easy, but it is a sense of flow. It is a sense of, oh wow, this actually works out. And it kind of, then everything can fall into place. But before that, it's quite often that I go through a period of Eight of Swords energy where I'm just like in this tensed up space. It's interesting that I keep talking about this so much because why do I keep? Oh, okay. So when we are in that, and I feel like my breath is getting shorter. So when we are in this sense of I need to force it in a certain way, I need to push through this, I need to do it that way. We are not really open to receiving the guidance from that higher place. Um, and yeah, that's with the Four of Vessels. The Four of Vessels, they are about like not being open to receive anything, and like not really having the capacity to receive the guidance. And usually that is because we're so much in this, like in this um, tense energy that like it's just like it's like a closed system, nothing can get in. Um, and then we are not able to see where the solution actually is. And what we need usually then is to just take a break, to relax, to do something different, something else. Um, and just to trust that the solution will come to you when it's time, when it's ready. And yeah, with the Ace of Wands and the Chariot here, um, that too is confirmation of, so there is something you're like elevating out of, growing out of. So the way that I read the Chariot, and I know that not many people do that, but the way I read the Chariot is it's a leaping out of your old ego self, um, and you're graduating into the next phase, and you um, you are in this graduation period, and it is with the Ace of Wands combined with the Ace of Wands. There's something about learning to direct our power, direct our will. And with all this talking about forcing our way into something, well, the wands can be like that. They can be that forceful fighting, I have to push through kind of energy. But with this, well, you're with this listening to the higher guidance and learning to trust that you don't actually have to always push, push, push. You don't have to always force things in order to bring them about. So this is what you're growing into. This is what like this chariot can bring you, this leaping forward into a new version of you where you do not have to push in order to get what you want. Um, you don't have to force yourself or force your environment to um, follow what you think is the right thing or what you demand of it. But if you just stay open, you actually can find that other door that the Eight of Swords is offering to you, and that your guides are probably trying to show you. Um, so I did pick up on a bit of a doubtful energy, and I realized that while I was talking about the Chariot card, I felt tempted to explain a little more, like why I read it the way I read it, and why I like what it means for me. But I could tell that it came from a doubtful energy, like a questioning energy, maybe even other people questioning like, why are you reading that so weirdly? Like, this is not the traditional way to read tarot. No, I don't read the tarot the traditional way. I do not read it as like the way you are, like, people read tarot. um it is just a tool, and there are many different ways to read it. There is not one right or wrong way to read it. And I do have a system that I follow, and I do have different teachers that I follow and I value. And it is mixed with my own experiences, with my own, like, working for years with the tarot, and just, yeah, combining it with psychology and archetypal work, and it's a whole mixed bag. So this is just my way of reading it. So there is this, like, why am I explaining myself? Because I did pick up on that doubtful energy, and there is a bit of that asking for explanations, like wanting to know, like, why are the things like they are. And there is a bit of distrust, mistrust, like not trusting. um and with the Orphan card, focus, um and it's the five. Yeah, there is this is the mind energy of having to question everything and having to, like, have it their way. Or there's this sense of, like, but this is the right way to do it. This is the way to do it. You cannot do it another way because reasons. It has a lot of reasons why not. And the thing is, when we are in that kind of energy, we are closing ourselves off from other possibilities, from other ways to look at things, to receive guidance, or to learn something, and to like, oh wow, that's interesting. Why are you reading tarot this way when I'm used to other readers doing it this way? I just heard, how dare you doing it differently? Wow. Um, yeah, there is like this almost like a sense of entitlement of like, hell yeah, I'm doing it differently because I trust myself and I trust my skills and I trust my inner wisdom and my knowledge and I know where I come from. And so, yeah, I do trust myself to do things differently. And that might be not well received by others. But another reason why I do it that way is because I was guided to certain teachers, and I was taught a lot by my guides, for example. And so there is like the trust I have in this whole thing. I still this example of reading the tarot, for example, and doing it differently than others. Why do I allow myself to question the kind, like, or the way other readers read? Like, I don't really question it. It's like it's their way of reading it. I don't really question it. Do I think that many people get stuff wrong about the tarot? Yeah, probably I do. But it's still, sometimes it works, sometimes maybe it doesn't. But that's not really my concern. My concern is like, how do I do it and why do I do it the way I do it? And why do I trust it? Why do I trust my way of reading it? Well, because I know that I was being guided towards, like I say, the teachers, and the like, I was always guided to the right information at the right time. And I was taught by spirit. I was taught like most of the stuff I know about spirituality. I was taught by my guides. I was taught by spirit, and I experienced, like, explored so many things in like mystical realms. And this is just, I do not follow any kind of doctrine or other people's ideas. And of course I do like I take wisdom out of them or information if I find it valuable. But the way I talk about spirituality, you will always find me drawing from my own experiences, from my own wisdom and knowledge. And the things I talk about, you can be sure that um, they are a result of my own explorations more so than just copying what I heard somewhere else. Um, why am I talking about that stuff? That's fascinating. Um, and I do get a bit like a sense of almost like panic from this. Like there's this short breath. Um, yeah, really, this like, okay, am I allowed to almost like form my own opinions? Am I allowed to take a different course? Am I allowed to walk through a door that I've never seen anyone else walk through before? Um, I'm drawn back to those ants, and like one is running on that well-known path. One is running on that well-known path. And yeah, it might be speeding along and it's passing the one that is searching, but the one that is searching, it was just trying to find its own way. Um, and maybe not because it was less capable than the other one. Maybe it was just, um, yeah, like I said, try to find its own way. And that might look a bit messy and a bit confusing from the outside. And it also can feel very confusing from the inside. But when it finally does find its way, it knows how it got there and it knows that this is the right thing. So, coming back to that orphan card, okay, so that was a long way of saying, like, maybe you feel abandoned by your guides. Maybe you feel, yeah, I do get that very strong sense of like you're missing the guidance, you're missing the, like, where is my help? I need help. And maybe you are receiving help, but it's not the help you want or the help you are asking for. And so there is this sense of being left alone. Um, and it again brings me back to this Eight of Swords and the Four of Vessels card. The Eight of Swords with, like, yeah, you want help in a certain way, but that is actually not the help that you need, because you're trying to, mm, you like, it seems like you're trying to walk in a certain direction that you're actually not supposed to go. Um, and when I say like not supposed to go, is like what actually your higher path is or what your soul wants for you. And maybe you're just trying to follow something that you think is the right thing to do. But the question is it really what you want? Is this really where your soul is calling, what your soul is calling you into? And with the Four of Cups here, by that, you're not able to hear the guidance clearly. You're not able to receive what they are trying to communicate to you. Because, sometimes we think, um, we think we know where the way is going, but actually it's something else that we're supposed to learn or to look for or to go to. Um, yeah, and that was what I was picking up on. With this No Place Like Home, there is this strong emphasis on, mm, like the inner trust, like this finding your, like yourself is where your safety is, where your home is, where you are from. Like, it's this strong sense of being centered inside of yourself. And with that sense, you can be very confident in what you do, um, because you have those roots inside of yourself. And with that, you can be content in walking your path forward. So coming back to the tarot example, it's not that I made up these things. Like I say, I had teachers, but they came from a different way of conceptualizing the tarot. Very much Jungian influence, very much working with the archetypes, and then also bringing their own flavor in there. Um, and this is what spoke to me because it's my way of looking at the world. It's my way of working with energies and with, like, also my own personal development. And yeah, archetypes, they're just my thing. I love them. I do work with them all the time. So it made sense to go in that direction with the tarot, while I'm also acknowledging that there are other ways of doing that. It's just not my way of doing it. Did I start with that? At the very beginning, yes, of course, because everyone starts with that. But I was quickly guided to that one teacher that I got most of my foundation from. Um, and where was I going with that? I'm ridiculously talking a lot about myself today. Um, okay, he's sharing wisdom. Yes, sharing experiences. Almost makes me a little bit uncomfortable to do that. But yeah, it's this, okay, like finding your own way while at the same time drawing from wisdom from other people. And with the to be fair card and the yin card here, it's like the yin is this, the feminine, the inner wisdom, the more intuitive guidance. And the to be fair card here, which is very much the justice card for me in this deck, actually. Uh, yeah, this is about a balance. This is about balance. It is, yeah, use your discernment, trust, or like follow the wisdom and knowledge that came before you, but at the same time still use your intuition, still use your inner guidance as well, your wisdom as well. And it really is about finding your own way, finding your own expression of that. And this is what the chariot is about. It is this, can you graduate? Like, can you go to the next level? Can you, and to some degree you will start as a newbie in something. And like, sorry that I keep going on about that tarot thing. It just, like, it's just an example. Like if you do start out with something like the tarot and you learn that new system, of course you start looking for, okay, so what are the meanings of the cards? How do people interpret it? Um, and then you try to find your way in there. And the guidance I get here is like to not be too rigid with that, but to be open and to try to make it your own and try to find some kind of system that you can learn with that matches your own, um, that matches you, like my teacher that I found. And I worked with that for a very long time. And now I found another teacher, and she's more about esoteric wisdom. And it's a completely different approach to the tarot. And it still, like, it's not the foundation I'm using. I'm still using the other one as my foundation with my own experiences, combined with my own experiences, but it's something like I'm adding something. So I'm in my, like, also like with the chariot, I went into the next phase where I have that foundation laid out, and now I can add something to it. I do feel a bit like that ant that is like running in circles and trying to find its way, to be honest, through that reading as well. So this is kind of a bit of the energy we're in here. Um, and again, with no place like home, that ant just trying to find its way home, trying to follow its senses, but not really sure about the path it has to take. And there's also the sense of, because right now I just had that thought, like, should I just stop this reading because this is like, I feel like this is way too confusing. And there's, yeah, almost a sense of like giving up, wanting to give up, simply because things are not huh, wow. Okay. So there's like absolutely this thing of like, don't give up, don't give up. You're still in a healing period, you're still in a healing phase. And now I got the truth be told card, and this is like, it almost gave me like a shivers, like, and like my stomach just tensed up. And you see like there's this open window, and there's something that is waiting behind that illusion. Like there's some kind of illusion you try to force, you try to make happen. So the reason why you cannot see that open window and you still try to get through a locked door, because you think you're supposed to walk through that door, and there's a reason why you think you have to. And that has to do with some kind of illusion, and it has to do with some kind of ego death. And that is something that is also required for the chariot. The chariot, like I say, it's like it's graduating into the next ego cycle. So the old you um is no longer working. It's not really you anymore. It is about putting down that mask and step into that new version that you've become. You've grown out of that old one. You're graduating into the next, but there's something you need to let go of. Some kind of illusion, and that was also part of the reading I recorded yesterday, the collective reading. Um, there was this all that glitters card in there. There were also masks on it, and I was talking about status and yeah, like all those things that we like, images that we put forward, projections that we put forward. So the question is, if there's something you want to achieve, the question really is, why do you want to achieve it? Why do you want to have it? And why do you think it has to be that way? Why are you so stubborn when it comes to this? Like when we get inflexible um, in our mm, moving forward, when it comes to our own path, like there usually is something that is not quite us. Like we're trying to hold on to something that is not true to us, not our true self. And again, the community card. Wow, wow, okay. Okay, it's about acceptance. This is about acceptance. So there's this fear of, mm, and the full card just fell um, kind of into my hand. Again, there is this new beginning, stepping into this new beginning, actually risking taking that leap into something new. And with the community card, this is about acceptance. And the reason why you're hesitating to um, actually really look at what you really want to do, where you really want to go, and being open to what it could look like, not being so determined like this is the way it has to look. The question is, why does it have to look a certain way? Well, because we think that other people might not be accepting about the being different. Again, what I heard before, this, like, who do you think you are, or like why do you feel like you can just like do that? Why do you think you could do things differently? um yeah, there's almost this sense like, do I betray, like, maybe my old community? Could be family, could be friends, could be a religion, could be society at large, could be anything. Like whatever the part of the community is that you were part of. But yeah, like this really is speaking to me about, there is actually a soul community. I want to say there is a community out there that is accepting of who you truly are and the way you live your life, or want to live your life, the partner you choose, the profession you choose, the beliefs you have, the lifestyle you choose for yourself. All of those things, they will be accepted by the right people. Um, and so this is where your guides are trying to lead you. And I'm looking out the window and I see this like entrance of this castle and the bridge. So like they're trying to lead you over that bridge. They want to usher you like over the river, just like cross the river, cross the river. Um, on the other side of that bridge, there's actually something waiting for you. But like you need to let go of whatever is keeping you in that old, stuck in that old thing. Yeah. Um, Alrighty. I hope it got clear. I hope I made it clear. Like I say, I felt a bit like running in circles. That was also due to the energy. But yeah, it feels like you are in the process of working through it. And it, seriously, with that Eight of Swords card, it usually is a matter of time until we um, are able to see what we were not able to see before. um, it's just a matter of staying open and not giving up. Please don't give up on your dreams. please please don't. And even if it doesn't work out one way, there will be other chances that can make it work. And you will find your way. I'm sure you will find your way eventually. that was quite a journey. I'll leave it at that now. Yeah, as always, thanks for being here. Thanks for contributing your time and energy. I thank the spirit guides that came through here. It was a bit of a piece of work. I could tell it was not an easy energy to work through. So, yeah, like I say, don't give up. It is not easy what you're doing. It is not like the energy that I could feel, like it was kind of. Um, yeah, not easy to get through. And like I said, I I ran in circles myself. Um, and there are higher forces that are trying to help you to give you a leg up. And I'm sure I'm sure it will finally work out for you. All right, my loves. Again, if you want to book a personal reading, you can do that over the link in the description. I would love to connect with you in that way. And with that being said, like as always, I would love to hear from you in the comments, to connect with you there. And yeah, I love you so much. Thanks for being here. And I would love to see you in the next reading. Until then, take care.